89 on up, homies, the show where you gon' get Cali history. It's told with respect and dignity. Spoken by jihad so vividly. He's taking over the industry, giving y'all some download imagery. Damn you, if you ain't hitting them likes, come on, subscribe. Check out the channel and I bet it will make you decide to tune in every chance you get. It's lit, and some of y'all can learn a bit from this gangster shit.
YouTube, what it do, loved ones? You know the motto, if you can, after the story, go over there, hit us with a like, which is a thumbs up, and that'll let us know we kicking our stuff. I want to thank the homeboy G. Lee Deuce for the intro from the legendary Mental historical hip-hop album, Banging on Wax. You can reach him on Instagram at Solid from Day One. YouTube, what it do, loved ones? Welcome to another segment of 89 on up. And today we got a historical piece of content outside the Inglewood neighborhood Power Route 500 block area. And this homeboy is Q.Ball, a legendary historical homeboy in our era time. Before I start off, I want to shout out the homeboy out the area that pushed the street named G Stroll and his lifestyle we once thought was all that in our younger time growing up inside the Inglewood NHP 500 block area of Inglewood. G Stroll, before we start off, do you want to say anything to the platform or shout anyone out before we dive into content?
This is G Stroll from neighborhood Power Route 500 block. Give a shout out to all the neighborhoods, you know what I'm saying, especially my brother Slim, my boy G Slim, and my boy Nutty Bird from the Biddy Stone. So they're my dogs, man. So love them much.
We gonna push all the way to like the beginning, homie, of your time, dog. What year and how was your connection to the hood on that side of Inglewood, the neighborhood Power Route? Can you take us from your first introduction inside the turf?
Okay, well, I was born in Jackson, Mississippi. So, back then in the 70s, all the families left Mississippi to come to LA for a better life. So me and moms came to LA in the 70s. Maybe I was like 1 or 2, and we lived in LA. But I started seeing Inglewood a lot. So when I started going to junior high in Inglewood, over there at Frank D. Parent in Ladera Heights, that was my last year going there. And when all the counselors came up to the school, they was like Inglewood counselors. So we got our classes from Inglewood. So maybe 87, I went to Inglewood. And I started going to Inglewood High from 87 to 90. And then I could say at the end of 87, we was all hanging together. It was like me, Lil Inch. It was a gang of us because we had this little crew we had. But then the gangs came in, the families, NHP, the Queen Streets, they broke up all the cliques. So when they broke up all the cliques, because some of the cliques was deeper than some hoods, niggas was like, hey, y'all niggas a little deep, what's up with y'all? So we seen Dulo, he started coming on campus. And then he started recruiting. He came with the Lil Inch one day. He said, I know who you is. And Lil Inch was like, what you talking about? He's like, nigga, I know who you is, Lil Inch. Can't hide that no more. So when he told him that, Lil Inch was like, well, I guess the gig is up. And they said, you want to get in? You want to be from the hood? Because we was running around with Dulo when we was out of a little clique. And he saw Dulo said, it's like, y'all the future NHPs coming up. So when he found out niggas was down with him, we got put on the hood. And I got put on the hood at school. And the other homeboy that was hanging with us named Lee, he got put on, but they kicked him off the hood because Lee didn't make the cut. Underdog and Big Dulo, Lil Dulo, and them caught him up there in the Ladera Center, kicked him off the hood because he didn't make the cut. So that's when niggas started hanging with the homies from the hood, and that's we went from there.
So you, Q.Ball, and Lil Inch, y'all was a part of a clique already before y'all all pushed the turf.
Well, me and Inch was.
Right.
Q-Ball was Lil Inch's relative. And Q-Ball came around us after the clique got broken up. And he seen us, we was going to school every day, banged out. And Q-Ball, he didn't come to school with us. He went to Dorsey. And he would leave Dorsey and come up to Inglewood, like when we get out of school, him and Lil Seth in the jungles. They would catch the bus up to Inglewood and hang out with us after school. And they was just like, damn, y'all niggas going to school banged out like that? Like, yeah, you know, so Q-Ball wanted, I guess he saw it, and I guess he wanted to be from the turf. So Mom sent me away in the summer of maybe 88 after I got put on the hood. She sent me away that summer. She sent me to Houston. So I'm calling back down here, you know, to LA, talking to the homies. And Lil Inch called me. And he was like, he said, you know, because his real name was Quanet. He was like, you know, Quanet from the hood now. And I'm like, what? It's like, yeah. And he messed around and took Q-Ball to the hood one day with him. But Ball wasn't from the hood yet. And you know how the homies is, if you come into the hood with one of the homies from the hood, you ain't from the hood, they don't want you over there. So the homies was like, where you from, bud? He was like, home bang. He was like, well, why you over here? Q-Ball was like, well, my relative. And then they was like, well, Inch, what's up with your relative, man? They was like, you know, they was talking to him. He was like, man, wait, if you gonna be from the hood, you can't be over here if you ain't from the hood. So Q-Ball was like, well, fuck it, I get put on the hood. So Lil Inch put him on the hood. He was on Victor, happened on Victor in the hole. So Q-Ball got put on the hood by Lil Inch that summer. So, you know, we started hanging out, and all three of us became real close.
And at that, and what year was that?
That was maybe 88, the beginning of 88.
And what was the scenery like in 88 inside the hood? Because I know a lot of young homies watch the channel, listen to the channel. What was the hood like at that time when y'all was around?
It was a gang, man. We was all youngsters. We was all in high school. It was me, Lil Dulo, Bull, who else? Lil Big B-Rat, Lil Inch, Q-Ball, CK Capone, Lil Kilowatt. Man, it was a gang of us, man, and you know, it was so many of us going to high school. The big homies, like Dog and Stan or Dulo. Sometimes K-Wack would come up there, but he wouldn't come to the school. He'd stand across the street. And we were all bailed to the hood, just walking and shit, you know? So the big homies would come up there to the school to make sure we got to the hood safely. So, you know, that's how it went, man.
And at that time, y'all going to Inglewood, what other Damu sets was going to Inglewood High?
Man, Inglewood High was like the blood module, homie. We had the 7-9 Swans, the homie DJ, Duke, Moon, K-Bone, Lil Lucky. Who else was going there? We had the Inglewood families, of course, you know, Boulevard, JR, Ray Rock, Fuck Lies, all them niggas, man, you know. Then we had Queen Street, Dollar Bill was going there, Smurf, gang homies, Bandit. Who else? It was some Denver Lanes going there. The homie Trey K, he was going there, and then the homie, my dog, Lil Tweety Bird, he started going there with us. Then he had some Anthony Parks, Skull, and Lil Drac. Who else? There was a lot of Bloods going there, man. You couldn't come there if you weren't from the Blood gang, homie, and they found out you was Crips, we was running your ass off. So that's how it went. There wasn't no Crips allowed up there.
Right.
It was just all Bloods up there.
So moving into content with the homeboy Qball, when he came to the turf, homie, what aura and character did he bring to the turf once he got formulated inside of there, dawg?
He brought to the turf, man, that wild country laughing. You know, he liked to tell jokes, but he was straight with all the homies. The relationship him and Big Kilowatt had, man, was the most funniest thing that I could ever think of. Cause them dudes, they would talk about each other's beards and stuff and be laughing about it. You know, because Q.Ball, it was few homies that he really loved. He loved Killer Wack, he loved Big Dula, and he loved Squeak Root. Them was his boys. He loved them dudes because he was always around them. He could laugh and joke with them, and they would never take it serious. They would just just bagging on each other back and forth. And they would have a drink. We drinking the Dulo juice. We drinking everything. So he brought laughter to the hood. But when the time came, when our numbers was called and we feeling we having wartime, he was right there on the front line with it.
And that I can vouch for. A lot of the young homeboys, they see pictures of Q.Ball and notice he's G'd up a lot. Where did he get that style to be banged out and G'd up a lot, you think?
He got it from all of us. All of us was dressing like that. We was dressing like that in high school. We started dressing like that out of school. And he just took that look and kept it. You know, he was always banged out because that was his thing. He wanted everybody to know where he was from. He was tatted up. He was banged out, and you couldn't tell him nothing. And what's so crazy about it is that my first time going to the county jail, me, Q.Ball, and Big 211, we go to the county jail, the old county jail, not the Twin Towers, but the old one. And they got me shackled to Q.Ball. Then when we get off the bus, he got on red Converse, red stripes, brown khakis, red long sleeve t-shirt, hair and pigtails, and a black and red Chicago Bulls jacket. Man, we got off that bus, man, it was like a roar, a Crips just screaming. They was banging on the windows because they was looking at us and they was just tripping. They was screaming, throwing up signs, everything. We all banging back, we throwing up hoods and stuff. And the deputies came and got Q.Ball and took him straight to the module because he had on red Converse. And he was like, rest of y'all go on the main line. They put me in 211 on the main line. They took Q.Ball straight to the module.
Hey, you ever heard any good squabble stories with Q.Ball inside the county jail, squabbling with, as the youngsters just say, with opposition in our younger time? You ever heard of some good squabbles the homie had pushing the hood?
He told me, because he would call me, from Wayside. He called me from Wayside when he was in jail. And he told me he got into a fight with a dude from 30. He said dude from 30s kept looking at him. And Q.Ball put his hands up like, you want to squabble? And dude was like, yeah. So Q.Ball said he took the fade with him, but he just wanted to see where he was from. And he let him know where he was from. And they got down, and they left it alone.
What was his relationship with the 20s, the LA Jungles, and the Biddy Stone? Because a lot of the young homies hear about his ties and how he kind of kept us all connected. How did the homie wind up moving around, building up these relationships with the homies from the 20s, Biddy Stone Jungles, and LA Jungle, BPS?
Okay. The first thing was Lil Inch. He lived in the Biddy Stone while we was still in school. So Q.Ball got to go live with Lil Inch when he moved to the Biddy Stone with Lil Inch, his mom, and his brother. So he was living in the Biddy Stones on 18th and Gramercy off of Washington. And he stayed with Lil Inch. He was in the Biddy. So we was over there when Lil Inch first moved over there. Me and Q.Ball walked around we walked around like maybe 12, 1 o'clock at night, and we struck the hood up, all over in their hood, just struck it up. I mean, everywhere. We had like 3 or 4, 5 cans of paint. We just wrote the hood up on everything. We did a roll call of all the homies' names, our names. We run up the hood. So the next day, the Biddy Stone homies came out. They was like, who struck the hood up like this? It was the homie, I think it was the homie Flash, OG Flash, Geek, G-Bill, Bird. They came over there, like, who struck the hood up like that? They was like, it was us. We was like, it's us. They was like, y'all from neighborhood probably? And they was like, yeah. It's like, they got to asking us about our homies. We was like, yeah, they're my homies. They was like, oh, okay. So they seen that we was participating over there because whatever war they was going through was our war too. So we took it up as they war was going on, because they was feuding with the niggas down on Venice, and they came through and killed the homie Lil Joker. Rest in peace to the homie Lil Joker from the Biddy. So we started clicking up with the Biddy Stones, and the homies we was clicking up with was the homie Lil Bird, Lil Nutty Bird, Pee Wee, Lil Bill, Get Down, and the homie Devil. That was our Biddy Stone clique right there. Them was the tightest one we was with. And then like maybe the 20s, they was coming through because all it was mainly the Second Avenue. They started coming through like Lil Monster, Baby Monster, Lil Snake, you know, Baby B-Rock, which was Q.Ball's dog, Baby B-Rock and LB Locket Blood. Who else? We was all hanging out on Gramercy because we was hanging out over there so deep. I used to come to the hood and pick up a few of the homies and take them back over there to where we was hanging out at. Because the homies didn't understand why we was over there hanging like that. And I had to show them like, hey, we over here kicking up dust with these niggas though. You know, they was like, oh, okay. So we just ran with it like that. And then the jungles, Q.Ball moms moved in the jungles. And moms lived on, I think it was Stevely or some street like that. She stayed on Stevely. And he was all straight with all the jungle homies. Bob, Fat Rat, Popcorn, you know, homies, Sleep, Don. Them was the homies. And who else? The homie Lil Squabbler. You know, we was all straight with all of them, man. So he was selling his little weed over there, but he was showing so much love to them dudes. They didn't really like try to trip on him or tax him or nothing like that. He was just showing straight love to him. And then he was always like, hey man, let's go to the store and get a drink. So you know that was his thing, drinking. So he would buy a drink, they sit up and drink, maybe shoot dice and laugh and talk, smoke some weed and all that. It was never no feud with the homies because the homie Big Set, he was like our uncle to us. You know, he was calling us out. He was calling us his three nephews. The homie Big Set from the jungle. So he was like, man, you know, y'all straight, man. Niggas loved us, man. And it was like, wasn't never no problem we ever had with them dudes, you know.
I remember Q.Ball once told me that was like our second home, and I told him, you know, at that time, I was like, you absolutely right. Do you agree at them times, homie, that was like our second home because it was like right up the hill and back and forth?
Yeah, it was our second home because the jungle homies, they was solid.
Yeah.
They was solid, man. And, you know, and if you lived over there, you was a B-dog, it wasn't no problem.
Right.
But if you from the other side though, they didn't allow that. So it was like we was over there banging, they knew it. So what they was going through, we would jump right in with both feet. We wasn't tripping. The little Inch ended up living over there and they still was coming around. So it was straight, man. They knew us.
And the homie Q.Ball, Qball moms, what type of person was she, homie? Because I know she used to let homies lounge, hang out, and all that. She had love, homie.
Yeah.
What type of person was she?
Hey, man, you know, she's a lovable mother, man. She's like maybe my second mom to me. Her and Lil Inch mama. Rest in peace, Lil Inch mama. You know, they was all our mothers to us. My moms, rest in peace to my moms. All three of our moms, they was always on us. But they wasn't on us so tough. They would be like, you know, they knew all three of us, we was all hanging together. They knew what we was doing. But sometimes they would tell us to be careful what we doing out there in the streets. So his mom's lovable moms, man. She was the sweetest lady, man, you know. And he was loved by his sister, his little brother. Moms are straight, man. You know, you can go to mom's house, kick it, drink, smoke. She might even hit the blunt, you know. Because I think one time we had his birthday party when he had passed away. We had a party at her house, and all the homies came. I was over there barbecuing. You know, I was drinking, but I was barbecuing. I started getting sick, so I went in the room and passed out. And you came in there and woke me up. You was like, "Blood, get up. We here." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." But Fats had took over the grill, so I just let Fats go on to finish that. You know.
At that time, you was talking about a lot of homies didn't make the cut and only the strong survived. And you know, niggas like us, I know you know what I'm saying, you a loved one, homeboy, big brother, and I consider you and recognize you as a big homie because you was on the turf before me, and I didn't been function with you on the street, and you always had a different style of thinking that drew me close to you, homie. What was making the cut inside the turf back in the days inside the NHP. Can you share that with the young homies real brief?
If you from the hood and you weren't participating, you couldn't come to the hood and hang out. Wasn't no coming out to the hood and hang and your name not ringing no bells in them streets. The homies was not having that. Niggas was getting violated, getting hands put on if you wasn't participating with the hood. Because back then, we used to have meetings at Rogers Park. You know, we'll be laughing about this. I still laugh about this day because Killer Wack, he'd be like, it's going to be a meeting. And we all go up to the park and we be meeting up. And if you came late, you got violated. But if you didn't come, you really got violated. So if you wasn't participating with the homies and you carrying another homie name and you ain't out there like that, it's gonna be a problem. So I tell everybody that, you know, if you carrying somebody's name, you carrying a big homie name, and you somebody number 2, number 3, you got to be out there getting it, homie. I mean, you can carry this dude's name, especially if you're a rider too. You know, I told Lil Dulo that. I'm like, homie, you carry a big Dulo name, homie. You know, hey, you got to live up to that. Anybody's carrying a name, they lived up to it. So I told Lil Dulo, and he lived up to it. Lil Killer Wack, he lived up to it. Right. Lil Coco. Right. So it's like, man, everybody little though. Like your little homie. You know what I'm saying? Rest in peace, rest in peace, little homie, man. I love that little dude, man. We all love that little dude. You know, Lil Pint, man. That was our baby brother to us, man. And we was all hurt when when something happened to him, man. We was all hurt. Right. So it was like he took it and ran with it because he acted just like you. So it was like, damn, we got another one act like that. Because when we started hanging in the hood, at first we was over there on Market and Hyde Park. That's where we was at first. Because Lil Dulo lived over there on Market and Hyde Park. But once Lil Dulo moved to his own apartment by himself on Hyde Park and Beach, that's when we came over there. And then you was living in Lil Dulo building. I used to see you outside, just standing there. You was a real little dude. Just standing there with waving his head with your hands. You standing out there standing like a gangster with your arms behind your back. The homies be like, who's that little dude? I'm like, I don't know. So they like, oh, well, he might be from the hood. I said, he might be. So, niggas didn't really bother you until one day I seen you and you was banged out. I said, oh, he from the hood. They like, yeah, you from the hood now. I'm like, oh, okay.
Exactly. On the real, homie. I want to ask you a few more questions about Qball, man. Inglewood neighborhood, Power Roof 500 block. He had got shot up a few times in different neighborhoods. And what was it like at that time, homie?
Oh man, it was all out war, gangbang. It was gangbang was at its all time high. Cause he got, let me see. He got shot in the hood over there off of Centinela. You know when you come off Centinela and you get ready to turn, it's like Hyde Park, and then there's another street after Hyde Park, but it kind of split where you can go down Hyde Park. I forgot the name of that street.
Right, where you going into the Nella Parks at damn.
Exactly. So the homies got a whip of a word that there was some Crips over there. So Ball and some of the homies jumped in the car and went over there, and they jumped out on them niggas. And them niggas started dumping, and Ball got shot in the stomach. And they took him to Daniel Freeman. That's when Daniel Freeman Hospital was open. And they calling me, and I shoot up to the hospital, and he's up there, stomach wide open and shit. I'm like, man. I said, you all right? He's like, yeah, man. They ambushed us though, I'm like, damn. Started dumping. They shot him in the stomach. And then another time he got shot. He was coming from the Biddy. Him and the homeboy Lil Cleedorf, rest in peace, the homie Lil Cleedorf from Villa, was finna take him over to the jungles to do something. So Q.Ball and his baby mama was in the back seat. That's when Lil Cleedorf had that Camaro. So they riding up Washington Boulevard. They get to Crenshaw. They make that left. So they on Crenshaw. But then all of a sudden, they sitting there at the light by the freeway. And the 60s, they rolled up in the Astro van. And Ball, he had on a red t-shirt with his hair in pigtails, and they seen Ball sitting in the back seat. So they slid the door. They started banging on the homies. They was in the Astro van. I guess them niggas was coming from they was coming from World on Wheels. And Q.Ball told Lil Cleedorf, take off, man. So Lil Cleedorf took off, shoom. Little Cleveland ran every light down Crenshaw till they got to what's that? Right there on King. They got the King before you to make that right up under the mall. So the whole time they flying down Crenshaw, they lost the Astro van that was chasing them. But this white SS pulled up and started giving chase. White SS on Gold Davis. So they chasing him. While they chasing him, they shooting at him. I guess they had like a 4.5 or something. Ball told me they had like a 4.5 Glock or something because it was making loud noise. And they was shooting at him. Little Cleat was rolling. And then when he made that right turn up under the freeway, up under the mall, he turned so wide, somebody in the front seat with him hit the car out of gear. So Little Cleat had to slap it back in gear and take off. So by the time they got to King and Marlton, they made a left. And when they made that left, the car hooked and dumped on him. Pow, 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 pow. So Q.Ball grabbed his baby mama and covered her. So if he wouldn't have covered her, she would have got hit. So he got hit in the side. And it kind of grazed him. So he went to the hospital for that. And let's see, another time he just kept getting shot, man. I kept telling him, man, I said, you can't keep getting shot like this, man, because I say, next time you might not be able to make it out.
I remember he got popped on didn't he get popped on in the biddies or in the 20s before?
Yeah, him and Lil Inch got shot in the back over there in the 20s, about some 30s. He was riding his bike to his auntie house. They shot him in the back. This is while we was in high school. Then Ball got dumped on, I think it was by some 30s or some schoolyards. We was getting hit by so many different sets while we was over there in the biddy. Everybody was just coming through, man, and we didn't know who was who. Sometimes it'd be the 30s, sometimes it'd be the schoolyards. It was just that we was at war, so it was like we always had to they kept us on our toes over there. But he did get dumped on over there in the 20s. And I think he got like maybe shot in the hand or something like that. But it didn't do nothing to him really though. He just went and got it patched up and stuff, so he was straight then.
Man, hey, look, and I could recall a lot of them times, homie, and the only thing I could say at them times, homie, it was like, Ball was totally active, so it wasn't like, them was the times where we was totally active. You get bust on, you had to heal up and come back out and jump on the front line, and that's what put the homie at an all-time high with this shit, just moving around through different Damu hoods, homie. If you could tell me one hell of a memorable moment with the homie Qball before we close out, which one would come to your mind?
Man, I done heard this story on other podcasts too. I'm gonna tell the story too myself, but I'm gonna tell it from my end though. That day we went to the mall, and we got into it with the 60s. And they followed us back to the hood. We was at Fast Gas. They came up dumping. And we was all there. Me and Ball, Lil Dulo, Taco, was gang of us. Because we banged crazy in the mall that day. Big Dulo, all of us. And they dumped on us. Before we could take off and run, the police got us. But they didn't get Taco. Taco took off. And they bumped us up. They wrote our names down, and they ended up subpoenaing us to come to court. So that morning we had to go to court. We met up at the park, and we walked to the court building. We mobbed like a motherfucker to the court building. Got to the court building. We sitting in the courtroom deep. It was us, and then I don't know the homie Ray Nora from CPF. He just happened to be with us for some odd reason. And we go in there, we sitting in court, and we started
blood on
tripping in the
NHP,
courtroom.
blood,
We was talking
blood.
loud, tripping. DA came out. He's like, y'all come in the hall. They was like, you see the guy? We was like, nope. They was like, all right, well, y'all get out of here. So we left. So we bounced back to the hood. That's when Lil Dulo had I think he had a 78 Coupe de Ville. And he said, hey, I got some drink in the car, man. He had a gallon of Royale or some kind of cognac. It was a big bottle of it. And we was like, damn, we want to drink in the hood, but the police kind of riding around. So we shot to Playa del Rey. We shot to the beach. We out there at the beach drinking straight out the bottle, up on one of them lifeguard posts. We up there. Beach wasn't even open yet. It was maybe 10 o'clock in the morning. The sun wasn't really out there. It was still kind of foggy. But it's a gang of us out there drinking. So we started getting fired up. And Big Dulo was like, hey, let's go over there and hit the 60. He's like, all right. So we caravan. So, you know, we was famous for our caravan. We caravan. We riding down Crenshaw. We looking. We don't see nobody. Like, okay. So, little Dulo, he waving his hands. We following him. We go up to Crenshaw. So, we roll up on Crenshaw. At this time, I think they was at lunch. School was at lunch. So we pull up by the gate. It's two dudes from Main Street outside the fence talking to the 60 niggas inside the fence. So we swoop up on them. The homies jump out, start putting hands on them. While we out the fence, we getting out the cars. The 60s in the school, they was like, hey, cuz, come over the fence. We was like, what? So as soon as they said that, Big Dulo took his shirt off and hopped over the fence. We like, wow, man, this nigga done hopped over the fence. So they like, come on. So we all hopped over the fence. Slim, G Slim, Dulo, Lil K-Wack, Q.Ball, Lil Inch. It was a gang of us, man. Taco. It was a gang of us. So they wanted to get out. They gave us a fair one. So we lined it up on the basketball court. So we started getting down with them, and security stood there and watched us. And they gave us a fair one. We got down with them. The homie G Slim, he had two of these dudes from the headlock. Big Slim is with the squad. He had two dudes from the headlock putting hands on dudes. Dulo was just going crazy, firing on everybody. So it was like a big fight. And then they started calling for more security to come. So that's when we ran up and hit the fence and we jumped back in the car. And then we just shot to the jungles and just hung out at the park of the jungles, man. But, you know, we always had a good squabble with dudes, man, because we always took it to them, you know, because that was us, man. If you was with Dulo and them and you had a chance, there was always a chance you're going to get into a squabble. And if you didn't get into that squabble, that was it. That'd be a violation for you. So it was like, we always jumped into something, man. And Qball was always down the squab, or if our numbers called when we at war, we would do it. You know, we couldn't never turn down, like with being from the hood. Can't turn down no fades, and you can't be scared to go put in no work. And if they homies get a whiff of that, it's gonna be a problem. So you had to be on the front line, homie, claiming the hood like that. That's how we was built for it.
What you think made the homeboy Qball fall in love with the turf, with the Inglewood NHP 500 block area?
Because they loved him, they respected him, and he was straight with everybody. Everybody loved him, man. He was just that lovable guy, man, to have around. He wasn't that kind of dude that, I can't stand that dude. He be starting to that. Nah, he wasn't that kind of dude, man. He was the kind of dude come around. He'll talk some hood stuff with you. He'll want to drink with you, hang out, smoke. But he always he loved the hood. He loved the hood to the fullest, man. And you could never tell him nothing wrong about the hood. He didn't want to hear it. He wasn't accepting it.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's how he was, man. You said something bad about the hood, you had a problem with Qball. That's how he was.
Hey, if you could say some of the homeboy, because you've been around him a lot, what can you name two females that he kind of really loved out his career pushing the street shit that you could kind of say from being around him?
Man, it was Nettie Rue, number one, rest in peace to the homegirl, Nettie Rue, Taja, Dizzy, Baller, you know, Mean Jean, Nene Capone. Them was our road dog homegirls, you know? And we could always go to their house, hang with them, kick it, sing, eat some food, hang around, smoke, drink. Them was the homegirls.
Hey man, by us doing this tribute to Qball, What would he say about this?
He loved it, and he always know that I'm still speaking for him. I miss him every day, you know, because it hurt me. I'm still hurt to this day. I lost my dog like that, man, and I was the one had to me, Lil Inch, and Q.Ball's sister had to go down to the morgue and see the homie laying on the table like that, and it still just messes me up to this day, man. But he know people still love him. He know the hood still love him. I done heard his name in songs and stuff. The homie, he not even here no more, and the homies still respecting him. So that's what he always wanted, man. He got his respect before he was gone. But it's just the love that the homies still give him to this day. So, I just celebrated his birthday just last month on July 19th. I always give him a shout out on his birthday, man, 'cause I know he's not here, but I still, give him his respect. 'Cause I, let him know I still miss him, man. I still love my boy, man. And it's just that, he was at the wrong place at the wrong time when, we got hit like that, man. And, I still reach out. He got 3 kids, they all grown. He got 2 sons and a daughter. And, I hit them up every once in a while on Instagram or Facebook, see how they doing, let them know I'm proud of them. Because all 3 of his kids get along together because they got 3 different baby mamas, but they got the same dad. But they all hang together. All 3 of them still hang together.
Right.
And they make their dad proud of them for that, So they just carrying on what they would be doing if he was still here.
Right, and we want to let them know we love them too, homie. You might not hear it, things ain't like it used to be, but just know authentic, original, solid homeboy. We love our homeboy and we love his kids. You know what I'm saying? We love all our kids.
Yeah, that's how it's supposed to be, man. But we love like me, Inch, Q.Ball. We all said like, we had kids, we would all be God. We be each other God kids. So I'm like his God kids, Godfather to his kids. He like Godfather to one of my sons. Inch Godfather to one of my sons, and I'm Godfather to Inch kids. So that's the kind of relationship we always had, man. So we was always we was real close, man. And if you didn't see one of us, we was together, and you would see 2 of us. Sometimes you'd see 3 of us, or you'll see one of us, and then here come another one. So we was always together,
Before we close out, do you want to shout out any old time homeboys from back in the days or any loved ones before we close out, G Stroll?
Man, I'm gonna give a shout out to the big homie Kilowatt, G Slam, the homie BA, Tiny Loco. Rest in peace to the homeboy Underdog. Rest in peace to the homeboy Pee Wee, Big Bugsy, Big Inch, the homie R-Mac, D-Mac, B-Mac, who else? Big Coco, L-Don, It was always, man, the big homies always showed love, man. And the big homie Big Devil, The homies always showed us love, man. And it was never no disrespect from the big homies because we didn't play that. We always respected our big homies, man, and still love the big homies to this day. And the big homie Ant Dog always hit me up, and we love them all, man. The big homies. But I remember the homies coming up to the school, getting us and walking us back to the hood. I ain't never seen nothing like that. I don't see other hoods doing shit like that. Big homie come up to your school, make sure you come to the hood and stuff like that. So it was cool, man. It wasn't nothing bad. It was just niggas just showing love to each other, man. That's what we had in the hood. It was always love, But some dudes that couldn't make it, some dudes did. So the ones that did, they still around to this day. So, you just gotta respect that, man.
When we lost Qball, we lost a piece and a chunk of the neighborhood as well, homie. Do you agree?
Yeah, we did, man. We started taking major hits. We lost Q.Ball. We lost Big Dulo. We lost Lil Pint. We lost homie Ghost. We was getting hit, man. And that stuff kind of hurts, man. You lose a lovable homie. It sticks with you for a long time. So That's why you try to reach out and tell homies you still love them. And you're just glad everybody's still around. Make sure everybody's doing all right, you know?
Man, I want to say, dog, I love you. I appreciate you coming on the platform to share the lifestyle and the history and experience of a loved one, not only to us, but throughout the Damu community. I want to salute you, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, we go way back, like you said, from the beginning of my time. And I just want to say thank you, homie, for stepping out and putting it on for the homeboy Qball, dog.
Man, you know what, Pike, man? You know, it's like this, man. Hey, homie, I love you. I love what you're doing with your platform, with your clothing line, how you teaching your kids the right from wrong. You on some grown man stuff. I already talked. I hit you a while ago. I told you you're gonna go far with this journalism, man. You're gonna go somewhere with this. It's gonna take you somewhere. And you're doing the right thing, man. You know how to do interviews, everything. So it's gonna take you a long way. So you just keep doing what you're doing, homie, because you're doing the right thing, man. And I'm proud of you, man. And I'm proud of any homie that's out here, every homie that's doing something with their life. If they rapping or they doing something, I don't even care. If the homies ain't even doing nothing, I still love them. We respect them. You know, you just got to keep giving love to people, man. You just can't cut them off, because if you ain't doing this, you ain't doing it, I ain't mess with you. No, it ain't like that. You got to still show love to your homies. If you didn't have homies, who you going to show love to? You can show love to your family, but you're going to keep showing love to the homies because we was there. We was running around together. We was all running around together. And we sit back and laugh about it now. But we had fun, but, you know, when the time of your number, if your number's called, and you don't answer that call, it's going to be a problem. So that's how we was taught. You know, we was taught like that. So we had to be on the front line because certain dudes, certain hoods kept us on our toes. But we wasn't that deep back then. But everybody knew they rolled though. So that's how it was, man.
Man, I want to salute you and appreciate you and thank you for that rundown. And man, you know, hopefully we'll bring you back for you to share some light on some different other subjects inside our community, dog.
Hey, man, if you ever need me, man, just hit me, man, you know. Hey, I'm always here, man, you know. I always got a story to tell about something because we was around that time, man. And, you know, certain homies from the hood, they was there, you know. So we was there with it and we know about it. So that's the best thing to do is you have to get people on your platform and they know they was there and they was around. They know what they talking about. So, you know, just whenever you need me, man, just hit me, man. I'm always going to be there for you, homie, because I see you doing positive things, you know. So I'm just going to keep shining the light on you, you know, because you deserve that light, man. So you deserve your light, man. You can shine. You shining, so you deserve to stay in that light, man. So whatever you doing, homie, just keep doing what you're doing, man.
Salute. YouTube, what it do, loved ones. You know the motto, if you can, after the story, go over there, hit us with a like, which is a thumbs up, and that'll let us know we kicking our stuff. I want to thank the homeboy G. Lee Deuce for the intro from the legendary monumental historical hip-hop album, Banging on Wax. You can reach him on Instagram at Solid from Day One.